Just a few days ago, I was sitting on my terrace, looking out at the beautiful rainbow of flowers in my yard. The pink, yellow, and white frangipani trees, the purple, pink, red, gold, and orange bougainvillea, the many varieties of and colors of orchids. Yep, looking out from my terrace at my little corner of paradise, I felt so very happy. Many of you have asked about my home here, just north of Yogyakarta. So here's the story about this place where I've been living for 22 years. Back in 2002, my housekeeper and I were living in a nice but much smaller house further north up the side of the volcano that I live on. The weather was so pleasant because of its elevation, 900 meters or 2,953 feet above sea level. Much cooler than Yogyakarta, which is only 121 meters or 397 feet above sea level. I had a small yard there, very small, and I wanted a larger yard for my dogs to run around in. So you can see there were a lot of reasons why I wanted to move from that place, even though it was nice. So I asked a friend if he could help me find a different place to rent. I told him my requirements: a large terrace where I could eat and greet people outdoors, and a large yard for my doggies. Over the next several weeks, we looked at several places, but none seemed quite right. And then, bingo! You can see some images on the screen right now that show exactly what I saw when I first walked onto the property of this place, the place I would be renting, as it turns out. It had been used as a factory for light assembly work, and when I first looked at it, paradise was not the word that would come to anyone's mind. Before I signed the rental agreement, I brought friends to see the property. Here's what they said. Every last one of them said this: "Kate, forget about this place. It's a dump." They couldn't see the vision of paradise in my mind that had come to me the moment I set foot inside the front gate. In fact, my decision was already made the moment I stepped into the yard area, but I was looking for a little support. Now, I didn't get any support. Not at all. Every single one of my friends advised me to keep looking. I don't know why I even asked for their opinions, because I already knew that this was going to be my home. As I said already, I had looked at a lot of rentals, but none had piqued my interest until I stepped onto this property. The kindest thing I can say about this property is that it was a mess. There was a broken down building of some sort in the front yard, and another one on the side of the house. Yes, there was a lot of work to do before moving in. For example, there's a common fruit in the area called salak, or snakeskin fruit. The trees that bear this fruit have huge, dangerous thorns pushing out of the tree close to the bottom. There were a couple of hundred of these trees in the yard, and they had to go, since it would only be a matter of time before my dogs would impale themselves on those enormous thorns. And then there was no grass. It was just all dirt, which meant that the yard would be a complete mud zone during the 6-month rainy season. So I had to put grass in. And in those days, grass was planted blade by blade. I wish I had taken a video of the handyman who took on that task. In those days in Jogja, we couldn't buy sod. You know what I'm talking about, right? The squares of grass that can just be laid on top of the dirt to create a lawn. And the fence was too low for my dogs. So, yep, I needed to increase the height or my dogs would quickly be over the top and ravaging the chickens and kitties in the neighborhood. My landlady had given me permission to do whatever I wanted on the property. So before moving in, I went to work getting rid of those salak trees, tearing down the ramshackle structures, planting grass, increasing the height of the fence, and generally just turning the outside area into a more pleasant space. The house itself was not in such bad shape, even though it had been used as a light assembly factory. It consisted of two houses that were linked with a small courtyard in between. The house on the east side was complete. 3 small rooms, a very large living area, a large kitchen, which is not typical here, and a traditional bathroom. But the house on the west side didn't have a kitchen or bathroom. It was just 3 small rooms and 1 very large room. That was the house that I chose for myself. So I took one of the small rooms, divided it in half, and turned half into a bathroom and the other half into a dressing area. No, I didn't put in a kitchen, since the one in the east house was plenty big. That east side with the kitchen was perfect for my live-in housekeeper and her husband. Yep, a perfect arrangement. I got more advice from my friends, those same friends, when they came to see the place after I'd rented it. That advice was this, and I'm quoting again. Kate, don't put any money into anything that you can't take with you when you move. Well, I suppose you might know enough about me now that once again, I didn't listen to them. After getting rid of the salak trees and increasing the height of the fence, I had the whole house rewired. When the house was built, the wiring wasn't very modern, and I was pretty sure I saw a fire in my future. So at the time that the house was built, that wasn't a problem, because no one had all the devices, the electronic devices that I would be using. And I wanted more than one outlet in each room. So you can see, I wasn't listening to my friends right from the beginning. I made some serious improvements while I was still working and could afford to spend the money. I haven't made any improvements lately. I'm not working anymore, so. For example, I had a waterfall built on one corner of the yard. You can see an image of that on your screen now. I love sitting on my terrace and hearing the water falling onto the pond below. And my dogs love wading in the pond when they want to cool off. And then, remember that I said the 2 houses were connected by a courtyard? Well, I had a roof put over that area and a floor put in. Now that outdoor spot is indoors and provides me with space for my art studio. Besides that, I added a second floor over the garage to use as an office. But you know what? In the end, I've used it as a guest room instead. I prefer working downstairs. It's where everything's happening. You know, my dogs are here and everything's going on down here on the main floor. So no, I didn't take the advice my friends gave me. Most of the renovations I've done here cannot be taken with me if I ever move. But you know what? I've been living here 22 years at this point. So it's all been worth it. And I don't really plan to move either. So I hope you've enjoyed knowing a little bit about where I'm living. Let me know if you have any questions, and please leave a comment about similar experiences you've had. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.